The German Europarlamentarians said that European Union should withhold recovery funds meant for Poland if the country continued to fight against demands to abide by EU rule of law. Poland and Brussels have been engaged in a bitter row over a ruling claiming European legislation is in direct contrast with domestic law. Speaking to BBC Newsnight, Ms. Rienke said, "We are going to make the argument and the resolution that we have proposed to the European Parliament that in this situation when we cannot be sure that Poland with this really politicized and non-independent constitutional tribunal anymore." And by the way, it's not me who is saying that it is the European Court of Human Rights that is concerning this. That we cannot be sure anymore that the EU money that will go to Poland would actually be spent according to EU law. And this is why yes, we want to ask the Commission to not for now release these funds, but to wait a moment when the Polish government actually agrees that they will have to implement the ECJ rulings as demanded. However, the BBC Newsnight presenter pointed out a key flaw in the MEP's arguments on blocking funds, and that's what the Polish Prime Minister is now calling threats and blackmail. It's a pretty easy way of making the EU unpopular in Poland, isn't it with the Polish people? Ms. Rienke said, but then you look at the streets and the really tens of thousands of people that were in the streets last weekend, and that were saying, we belong in the European Union. We want to stay in the European Union. And that obviously also means that we want to abide by EU law and uphold the rule of law and fundamental rights. Because at the end of the day this is not about what is happening in the European Parliament. She went on, it is really about protecting the rights of Polish EU citizens, and this is why the European Parliament will call for the freezing of these funds. And will also continue to fight for the implementation of the ICJ rulings and for Parliament to come back on a path of rule of law. The clash in the European Parliament follows Poland's Constitutional Tribunal's ruling that rejected key parts of EU law. Mrs. von der Leyen said she would act to prevent Poland from undermining European Union values. In response, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki accused the EU of overstepping its powers. The case was the first time that an EU member state's leader had questioned EU treaties in a national constitutional court.